Thank you so much, Jade. I really excited to have you on my podcast. Should I let you introduce yourself?
I'm Jai Jamali. Born and raised in Singapore. Yeah, and I moved away when I was about 16 and a half, 17 to New Zealand, to Wellington, and did my dance training there for a couple of years. And then I kind of lived there a bit more longer after that. And then I moved to Australia, to Sydney for 12 years. And then I came back here 2012 and been here ever since then. Yeah, it's been a journey.
Sorry, so your name is pronounced Jai, not Jay.
Jai, like
Yeah,
hi.
I'm so sorry hearing people calling you Jay, so I thought Jay is Jai.
Yeah, I got a lot of people calling me different names like Joe, Jay, Joe, all sorts, but I don't mind.
Okay,
It's one of those names. It's kind of like, oh, how do you pronounce it? I'll just say like hi, Jai.
Jai. Hi, Jai. Thank you.
Yeah. So then I met my partner and I moved back to Auckland and then been here for last 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit more about what made you decide to come to New Zealand at the age of 16.
Well, so I was dancing a lot growing up, but it's more like a street dance kind of thing. And then at the age of 12, I kind of like did my own, like went to classes, took a ballet class, jazz class. But I was doing on my own because my parents are not rich at all, so they're very poor. So I have to save up my allowances to get by. So I took classes privately on the side. And then throughout that time, I did a lot of competitions for the studio in Singapore. And then my dance teacher said to me one day, why don't you apply for scholarship in Wellington, New Zealand? I said, where? Where's that? So I had to look on the map. Right, it's New Zealand and in the capital city of New Zealand. So I wasn't too sure about it. Then I thought long and hard about it. And I said to myself, well, why not? Just give it a go. So we did a quick contemporary and ballet audition, VHS tape then,
Yep.
big chunk camera. So we filmed that and then we sent it to a school in Wellington, which is now called New Zealand School of Dance. And starting off, it's an audition of like 5 minutes long, contemporary and ballet. And then never thought of it. And I told myself, there's no way. There's no way they will pick me or pick someone from Singapore, I mean, it's far from it. There's a lot of other great dancers around the world. So I never thought about it. And then 6 months later on, my teacher told me that and said, hey, guess what? They want to interview you online. So we set up the conference and we talked for a bit on the phone. They asked me about who I am, what I want to do, my dance background. And a week later on, they offered me a scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, to come to Wellington to do ballet and jazz, contemporary.
Oh my God, what a story.
Yeah.
So you always loved dancing even as a child.
Yeah, it was more of a street dancing,
Yeah.
like growing up. Arts is not a big thing in Singapore back then.
No.
It's very, very kind of like on the background. But I come in a very kind of like a artistic family. My dad plays piano, my brothers play instruments, and they're all singing, all that stuff. So I kind of like grew up in that environment.
Yeah.
And for me, I kind of dabble with dancing on the side, and then it led into more like a serious kind of like hobbies and passion.
Wow.
And then once I had a taste of it, I didn't look back. I just went for it. I knew this is what I want to do as a job.
Wow.
But I knew that I don't have the support of my family because they don't understand that. Plus, there's no way they can afford me to enroll in a studio, to go to training, that kind of stuff. So I had to do on my own.
So it's really
I did a part-time job and then save up.
So it's really self-driven.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Although my parents knew that I was doing on the side, but they did told me that they can't really afford to pay for any of the classes and stuff. So I said, that's fine. As long as I can go and do classes, I'll do anything, to do that. I just did my class on my own on the sides. And then it became to a more formal training. It's an open classes and then became to more like a semester class into a proper training towards what I want to do eventually. At the time, I just want to dance. I don't care what style. I want to do commercial jazz. I want to do theater. I want to do, contemporary classes, contemporary shows, whatnot. But I just did everything. But
So
in the end, I
yeah.
knew that to be able to go further, I have to get a technical classes under my
Mm,
belt. So
mm.
ballet, jazz, contemporary are my foundations.
And of course, your talent was recognized because otherwise the studio wouldn't approach you and ask you to consider to put yourself forward for scholarship.
I guess they see some talents or they see something in me. I don't know. They saw something and they wanted me to go further. They just said, why don't you just audition for the scholarship and just see how far you go? And I told myself, no way they will pick me. But we did. We went and did some routine contemporary and ballet, and then they picked it up, and the rest was history. And
So,
then I moved away when I was 16.
wow. So you just came to New Zealand by yourself at the age of 16.
Yes.
How
Yeah,
was that?
was quite scary because I remember that I stayed in a place called Kandala, Wellington, and it was winter and it was snowing. It was just crazy. And I remember vividly that time when I got there, far from city, and I had to walk like 20 minutes to the train station, to get from where I was into the city and then take a bus to school. So, and it was quite gray and,
Mm,
Wellington is very windy and gray and cold. For me, it was like, oh my God, this is like crazy. What am I doing here? But then when I got to the studio, I was like happy because I met people, like I met my peers, and all in similar surroundings, same passion and want to do the same thing. But it was a hard work of 2 years.
I can
Yeah.
imagine because when I see how you dance and then I realize that your body are designed so differently in that
Right.
millisecond, but you can move so fast.
Right.
My body couldn't even comprehend.
You're right. Your body conditioned to it. Like the dancer's body is, we put on our hours in the studio for like, could be like 12 hours at one time. And then constantly on the move. It's either from a class to yoga to Pilates, back to class to rehearsal, and then to shows. It's full on, but I will never trade that for anything else because
Mm,
it gave me that solid training that I need for my next journey.
yeah,
And I felt that those foundations have helped me a lot in terms of navigating into audition for jobs after that
yeah,
as well. So I stick to it. And then if despite the weather, being foreign city on my own, being far from my family and all that, but I got a blessing from my family to do this. So, which is good. And I met a lot of people, a lot of new friends as well, and glad to be part of that life. And Wellington is like my special place
yeah. I
because I
can
come
imagine.
back, a lot of good memories come back to me.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
tell me more a little bit about the 2 years training at the.
So it's very rigorous. So you start your day with theory classes. So you do studies as well. So you study a lot of things from contemporary works into different composers, different choreographers, different companies, style of ballet, style of contemporary that you had to understand the basics of it, the history of those genre. You can't execute or you can't dance without knowing your history of what you're
Mm,
dancing for.
mm,
So we did a lot of studies on those areas, contemporary and ballet predominantly. And with that knowledge, we then go to the studio and then they went through with us a lot of steps that we have to understand, the technique of every steps that we had to learn to pass every test and exams. It's a lot of assessment, a lot of that, but it was enjoyable for me because that's what I
um,
wanted from the get go.
um,
And then, to be able to do that, from that age, I was just like so happy, can just like do what I love doing. It was
wow.
tiring, it was a long day, it was cold,
Yeah,
but I just loved every moment of it.
wow.
And and I'm glad I have that passion, that
Mm,
driven, wanting to do well
mm.
because it's an opportunity of a lifetime to come all the way from Singapore to Wellington on scholarship. And I just want to make proud of who I am and my family as well.
To be honest, I mean, like, if people haven't done any dancing before, probably they wouldn't know how hard it is. I mean, like, even, yeah,
It's definitely, it's like they're grooming you into becoming athletes, so to speak. because your body has been trained to do these crazy things so that you can have the facility to do certain part of the dance in a performance that others can't do. So you've been groomed to get there. And the endurance, the patience, and able to do the technical part of it. It's a long process because you can't get through a single technique easily. For example, they will say, okay, do a single pirouette, double, triple, quadruple, and you have to pass your test if you do 4 pirouettes.
Oh my God, that's
Clean
crazy.
4 pirouettes, 4
Yeah.
turns. So these are the things that we learn and do on both sides, right and left. But it's always interesting to see the dedications from a lot of dancers wanting to achieve every time. They want
Wow.
more and more. And unfortunately, with dancing for ballet contemporary, it's about perfections. And I hate that word perfectionist.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be more loose and be more expressions. And yeah, that's why I moved away from contemporary ballet into more commercial jazz.
I see. Yeah, I'm so amateur about dancing, but just learning from you and from Diva Dance, some of the classes, I realized how hard it is. Like all the great performance look wonderful, but when I try to move, like how you move and how quickly you need to move in the beat, I realized that, wow, that is a whole different body movement that normal human being would never experience before.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and I realized, and I love dancing from young age. But the difference is now I have so much respect to all of you because I know the gruesome training each of you have to put yourself to get to that stage. Yeah.
It's definitely something you love doing, and I see a lot of kids when I teach younger generations, like some of the kids are sent to classes because they don't want to be there, as opposed to kids who wants to be there. So I was fortunate that I want to be in that space and wanting to learn more from my teacher, from my ballet master or mistress, because they really have all the knowledge and tools to help students like me at the time to get to where I am and just constantly do the extra work as well. Because normally for me at the time in class finish at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever, and then I'll stay back until like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Wow.
Because I want to practice what I learn in the studio, either with myself or with my friends, and just trying to get better each time.
Seeing how you move is like a slow motions, even though you move so fast.
It's a lot of body controlling as well. A lot of isolations of your body and knowing your body so well. And that you have understanding which part of the space in your choreography you have to hit. Yeah, so understanding the body first is the most important thing as a dancer. If you don't understand your body well, then you can't move in any steps that are given to you at any time. So body anatomy for me is so important, not only just understanding my limbs, because I'm not a tall dancer and most male dancers are quite tall in that industry. So I have to use my strength to get to, jobs that I think I couldn't get. So I had to use my legs, my power, my strength, my agility combined to get all that through to my path. So yeah, body anatomy for me is so important to understand that so that I can move better. I felt that helps me a lot to get through every steps of the way in my classes and my time in Wellington and Australia.
So what happened after you finished your study?
I finished that and then I worked for about 6 to 8 months in Wellington as a dancer, but I knew that opportunity is not much at the time. It's very low market for performers. And I knew that I have to go to a bigger city to get opportunity, and I moved away to Sydney, Australia because it's closer to New Zealand, and I was thinking of should I go to UK or US, but I feel like I'm a Kiwi, I can live in Australia, so I did that. So I auditioned for a job in Sydney in a musical. I got through and I stayed for initially for 2 years.
Wow.
And then the contract got extended and I stay longer.
Wow. Are you able to
Yeah.
say what production it is or?
It was Lion King the musical, and it was the first debut in Australia.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the fabulous thing is because they wanted different ethnicity
Yes.
in the ensemble for the show, and different heights, different dances, who can do different things. So yeah, so I auditioned for the job. I went over on my own, pay my own flight. And I'm thinking, oh my god, if I don't get a job,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, I auditioned for a job, got called back, 2 callbacks, and then stay on for the next
Wow.
few years.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it was an experience. Yes, it was a good fun. It was really definitely something that I love doing. I mean, it's singing, dancing, wearing different kind of costumes, and we have to learn how to walk on stilts in a giraffe. So they're all the new skills that we were taught at the time.
Can you take me back
Yeah.
to the very first show that you did on Lion King? Tell me
Oh
how
wow,
you.
it was a lot of pressure because it was from Disney World, and the Disney family have these huge expectations for the productions in Sydney, Australia. So we were given a lot of tips and advices about how to do better on stage, to do well in your roles and stuff. And because it was 2 shows, matinee
Mm,
and evening,
mm,
so it's a lot of stamina that requires throughout for the whole entire time. It's a lot of rehearsal, lots of long hours, lots of costume changes and measurements, making sure that we know our roles well. We have to learn a lot of quite a few songs in the ensemble, and then we have to make sure that everyone works as a team as well.
mm,
And it looks effortless
mm,
on show.
mm,
And doing that, it was definitely something that I thrive. This is what
mm,
I want to do
mm,
in my life.
mm,
Be able eventually to perform on stage and just able to do that as my work, as my job.
mm.
The day starts very, very early. I still remember on my first day of performance, we start about probably 7 a.m. rehearsal, tech rehearsal, going to the theater, more rehearsal. And then we try the costumes, making sure everything spot on with the tech run, with the lightings and everything else. And then go away, brunch, come back, call time at 11:30, 11:45,
Mm,
and then show at 1 p.m.
mm,
And then that was when we start to really warm ups again, do all our stuff that we need to do, all the ritual for each dancers, For me, it's like sitting quiet and listening to music. And then, yeah, and then shows at 1 p.m. And then 1.5 hour, 1:45, two
mm,
hours.
mm,
And then have a break and then go back to my place and rest for a bit, come back in at 4 o'clock for the evening show. And then call time at 5:30 p.m. Still remember it, my God. And then shows at 6:30. That was quite early, of
yeah,
the evening shows. So you can get through your evening shows and you can have dinner after that. But now evening show is like 8 p.m. or 7:30 p.m.
yeah.
So you finish late as a dancer, but then back in my days, you'd be home by 9 p.m.
Wow, that is a long day.
Yeah, it is a long day from like 7 to like more like 14 hours.
Yes. Wow.
And it's all over again the next day, and we have
Yeah.
1 day off.
Far out.
Yeah. But it was, I was running on adrenaline. I
Yeah.
was younger and I just had so much energy. I just want to do more and more.
Yeah, for you because this your dreams. That's why you put yourself through from paying your own tuition fees and hours of training to be
Yeah.
on a big show, productions like that.
I think for me, I guess at the right time, the right place,
Mm,
because there's not many musicals casting for
mm,
dancers of my background. Being
mm,
Asian is one, and being
mm,
to my height, not as tall as most other male dancers. I'm 168. Most dancers are
mm,
174, 175. But
mm,
because of that opportunity that came through, wanted a particular
mm,
ethnicity and type of dances as well. So I was lucky that I got a good agent in Australia and then put me through, and then I got through the audition, and they just saw what they saw in me and they wanted more.
Without years of preparation, you wouldn't even have the chance. You have prepared for it. I mean,
it's quite grueling audition. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
All the years of training pay off. Yeah, it was a 2 days audition. 2 days.
2 days, including singing as well.
Singing, dancing, able to do different kind of like skills that others can't. So they want to see a lot of improvisations from you, but they wanted someone who's highly classically training as well, with strong foundations of jazz and ballet. So which is really pay off for me. And I had to take a singing coaching on the side to be able to carry notes, not to be a lead singer, lead artist, but to be able to carry notes in a ensemble.
Yeah. Wow.
So that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was, so a lot of moments that I still remember that, will I make it? People getting cut every time to the next set, the next stage, and then on the second day, they offered me the job.
What happened after Lion King?
After that, we travel in Australia, actually. And then because it got a great review, and then we travel all over Australia, and then we did that for extended 1 more year. The contract for only 6 to 8 months initially. And then it got through to 1 year, 2 years, and then 3 years.
Wow.
And then in the end, I got promoted into become dance captain for the show.
Wow.
So I knew it so well. I kind of teach other dancers, other artists, certain roles in the musicals. And then after that, I just had a bit of break for a bit. And then I was teaching a lot after Lion King. And then I went to audition for another job, which is Grease, the Lightning. 3 musicals when I was in Sydney, Australia.
The third one is?
Chicago.
Oh, wow. Chicago as well.
They are the productions that I always wanted to be part of.
Wow.
I mean, I grew up in Greece, and I love that movie. And then the Chicago, something also I grew up with a lot of jazz and ballet, and I just love that. There's a lot of cabaret style in Chicago. Just love it. So I did all that. And then in between all those jobs, I was working as well, side hustle. I was doing waitering. I was doing teaching a lot in Sydney just to get by. I mean, unfortunately, as a dancer at the time, it's not a stable job because you have to work on each contract. If your contract finished 6 months, or if you're lucky, 8 months, if you short contract 4 to 5 months, can't guarantee you what happened after that.
Because it's seasoning as well, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It is. It is. So my fallback for that is to teach classes. Yeah,
of course. And also you have
a job.
Because you also have great foundation as well. So it's easy to go and do teaching because you have all the knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And fortunately, there's a lot of dance schools starting to open up more at a time. They're welcoming a lot of kids wanting to study different style of dance styles. So I was lucky to be able to get engaged by different studios, to teach classes.
So can I ask you, among 3 shows, Chicago, Grease, and Lion King, is there one that is your favorite? Or
the first one, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very family orientated kind of feel. And I met people from all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah, who auditioned for that job. Wow. We get all the way from, Northern Europe, US, Africa, coming in to audition for the jobs.
Yeah.
And I still keep in touch with all these people that I used to work with back then.
I was going to ask you. Yeah.
So when I go to Europe or go to US, I'll see them and they are either doing something else in their life or teaching or doing different kind of productions or whatever. So it's always special time. That was probably my favorite time working in a musical. And we were looked after well as well by the Disney family.
How your parents think about it when you were able to achieve your dreams?
They were so happy about it. But unfortunately couldn't come to see me. I sent a lot of videos and and photos and whatnot at the time, and they saw it and they loved it so much. I wish that they could have come and see me in person, but it is what it is, but they're very supportive. I have their blessings from day one. If only they can help me to get through where I am, that would be their dream. But I understand my family not able to help me in that sense, because we just get by every week, by my dad and my mom paycheck, and we don't have the extra money for my, hobbies to dance. But that's okay. I don't hold anything against my parents, but they just give me their blessing to pursue what I want to do and be who I am as well.
I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? It's
Very
not,
much so. I already have that.
Yeah. And what is even more important is because you work hard for it, you cherish every moment of it.
Yes.
It didn't hang it to you. It's like you have to work to get to where you.
Correct. It's very competitive, Ivan, as a working dancer. Yeah. There's a fine line between a dancer and a working dancer, because working dancer, you have to really, it's a job, and you can't really make mistakes, because if you make mistake 1 or 2 times, you get fired. And that's very important for me to have that etiquette, to have that, making sure that my employer is happy with my work, So I guess I have that drill, that values instilled with me all the way through until now, making sure that what I'm working with, happy with my job, and I can see the result as well through my class or through productions that I teach. So it definitely helps me becoming who I am.
What happened after?
Going back again to my dancing days in Wellington, I talk about the body anatomy. I delve into that a lot more, understanding my human beings as a person, how our body works. And then throughout the whole time, fitness has been on the background all the time to keep me in check, to keep me able to work better, to dance better. So fitness has been always on the background. And after I finished dancing professionally, I moved back to Auckland. I said, okay, what's my next path? What do I do now? I still have an agent in Auckland, but I don't want to be working every day as a working dancer. So I figured that I make a switch into fitness. So I went to a course as a personal trainer. And I'm also a group fitness instructor with Les Mills. So I have that on the background. The personal training was my first focus. I want to train someone. I want to train dancers to be able to be a better dancers, And there's no personal training at that time for dance studios or people who want to be able to be a better dancer. So I figured that could be a good market for me, a good demographic.
Wow.
And it turned out it was.
Wow.
So I get a lot of few clients, either students, dancers, or former ballerina wanting to stay fit and, flexible, comes to me and train with me. And then the studio I train, or in the gym that I train, felt that you used to be a working dancer. Can we teach you to teach a class in a group fitness class? I said, oh, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But I did went along, and I learned, I took a program with Les Mills, Body Pump and Body Jam.
Yes.
And then, and I teach them.
Yeah.
Ever since now. So I do my personal training. I teach at classes at Les Mills, and I teach at Viva as well. So there's plenty on my plate.
Yeah. I can tell you're quite busy as well. And also, you're so fit, to be honest. Like, it's not even funny.
Thank you. I think the word kind of like, kept me to who I am. And also, what I've been doing all my life, I suppose.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day before I interview you and looking at all the people from Viva Dance, especially professional dancer, I felt like there is like a lifetime of peak moment for dancer. I'm just assuming because you guys put your body through so much, then you come to a point where it's like, okay, the peak moment like kind of plateau. Yeah.
To be honest with you, as a working dancer, your peak is when you are starting out in your early 20s up to your probably mid 30s, 40 max, 45, pushing it a little bit. So right now, I passed all that stage, and I knew that I still can dance. I still do the odd gigs here and there with agency, but it's not something I did it back when I was in my 20s, in my 30s. So right now, my life is all about picking the right jobs, teaching mostly, training one-on-one with either a dancer or an athlete.
Wow.
Basically, that's where I am at the moment. And I know that's my calling right now because it's not rushing to the next job or next edition or next whatever.
You have
Because
done that. Yeah.
I've done that. Correct. I've done that. I'm happy not to go and support it and watch and, perhaps give some tips, advice on certain things in performance level. So, yeah, it took a while to get to feel that, okay, not to sit back because I always want to be at the front row. I want to be performing all the time. But it took me like a few years to say, okay, it's time to step back and then do what you can do to help others to achieve their goals. To be a dancer, to be an athlete or whatever, a performer. And I feel that that's where I am right now. And I think I'm quite happy with that.
I think you still look amazing and dance amazingly. Every time when I look at you, like far out, how you move your body is even just another level.
Thank
I
you,
like
Ivan.
watching you dance, because I know how hard it is.
Right.
And you make it look so effortless.
For me, if I teach a class, if the class can do 60% of what I teach, I'm more than happy. And as you know, I often preach in the class, it's not audition, it's not something you have to prove to me or prove to anyone. It's about you having a great time and able to just play with the choreography that was taught. If you can just pick up whatever you can pick up, I'm more than happy.
I really enjoy it. It's almost like scary at the same time, but excited.
Yeah, exactly.
We never know what you're going to do, but then also excited, like what we're going to do. But when we're able to achieve it, everybody is like, it's such a great feeling. Even though I'm probably only 60%, like what you say. But,
do you remember when we did From Now On, the choreography?
Yeah.
For the show, and you were so excited.
I love that song. And so that's why I was so happy when I hear that song. I was like, yes.
Yeah, and you were connecting to that songs and to the choreography as well. And that's just magic, to see that kind of things, happening in class where students were like, love that music. Oh, I can just feel the connection between the steps and the music. Yeah, it's definitely, what's the word? Euphoric moment.
I can tell you put a lot of effort into each classes as well. Like you thought about it, or you want to do with us. And also timing is so important. You don't really have a lot of time with us.
No, I don't. Yeah, I spent like probably a couple of hours to prepare for the class. Which I love the process of doing that, Ivan, because it's a way of me trying to be more creative in that sense. I'm no longer working on productions and shows. So for me, that's an outlet for me to create something that I can present to the class and the class can learn it from it. Of course, there'll be like adjustments here and there, things that I will pull out or add on or whatever, just depending on the level of the class that can pick up the choreography as well. But believe me, when I choreograph something, you guys will come in mind. I will think, okay, this person can do that. That person can't do that. I have to pull it back, adjust a few things here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, it's about the class. It's not about me. It's about the class, and that's what's important to me.
And you also push us a little bit so that we challenge ourselves as well. Like
just a little bit.
But I think that's why I think you have so many great followers. Me is one of them. I still have a couple of questions to ask.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So is there any things that you want to share that I haven't asked you about? Or?
Live your life the way it should be, I think. And I always have this mindset that, there's no regrets in life. If you don't try it, you won't know it. So I make few errors here and there in my life, but at the end of the day, it's more learning skills, learning pathway. If you have a goal, work for it. There's no laziness. There's no shortcuts to achieve your dreams. So that's what I've been taught by my parents. And, you got to work for what you want, you believe in, and your goals and your dreams. Anything's possible. Yeah. Anything's possible.
Especially your determination, like fire belly in you that keep you going. Because you wanted something is one thing, but wanted something and put yourself through it.
Yes.
It's completely something else.
Yeah. It's when you have the passion, right,
Mm.
for something that you love.
Mm.
It's not even a job. It's not even an effort. It's something you just want to keep doing it all the time. And by doing that, it's getting you closer to your goals, your dreams, despite some rejections or cutback in auditions or whatever. But you just keep going. One door closed, another one's open up. So that's how I feel in life. You know, it's revolved around that energy. You gotta keep push for what you believe in. Keep pushing, yeah.
So would you have any advice to any young inspired dancer who are on the same path as you before?
Do it because you love doing it, not because you've been forced to do it. And also do all kind of dance styles. A lot of kids these days only stick to one style. So do different styles. That will help you to get, if you want to be a professional dancer, working dancer, you have to be versatile in every style in dance because that's where the job comes in. Take as many classes as you can, learn a lot of things from teachers, take a lot of conventions in dance programs. Yeah, just keep learning different style. One thing I do have to tell people to take ballet class. Any dancers who want to do well in life as a working dancer, take ballet class. That is your foundation for everything in the dance style later on.
I did 4 classes at Viva for ballet class.
Great.
So I know
What do
how
you
hard it
think?
is. Yeah,
Right.
exactly what I want to say. How hard it is, even though it looks so effortless.
Yeah.
But how you need to learn to move your muscle.
Yes.
And it's a whole different level. It's fun for adults my age to go through it,
No,
to
it's
appreciate
great,
it.
Ivan. It's definitely because you're used to move faster, right?
Yeah.
And then when you pull it back and you just focus on your positioning, your legs, your arms, and your chest, your head, and your fingers, it's a different ball of game.
So much to think about.
Yeah. It's all these things that you learn. Hopefully, it will help you understand better when you come to our other classes.
Yeah.
You know, when I see you guys, okay, move on your 4th position or your arms on 2nd when you do your chaînés, you know, that is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th position. Those are the things that you learn in ballet class. These are the things that people use when they teach a class as well in different, it could be samba, could be African hall, could be jazz, could be commercial, could be contemporary. They all use same language with a different style.
Wow.
So it's good to have to do those foundation classes. That's what advice I would give to dancers who want to be able to dance better, or, you know, kids who want to be a professional dancer one day, is to take ballet classes and contemporary classes because that will help them later in their career.
And there's one last question that usually I ask all my guests before I finish, which is, what would you say to your younger self if you can go back to a time?
Don't be scared about the future, because it will all just fall into places. And, you know, when you're growing up at that young age, when I was like 12, 13, 14, you worry about what's going to happen, you know, in your life, you know, being who I am, being a dancer, and then being different from the others, all these worries around it, thinking that will I be accepted in society? Will I be accepted in my family eyes? I worry about all that.
Of course.
But everything will fall into places eventually. So I guess I would tell my younger self, don't worry. You'll be fine. Just stay true to who you are.
And I think that is the hardest job, isn't it? As a human being, staying true to who you are. And honestly, I think you have done so beautifully and gracefully. I know we only unpacked like one part of life, man. There's still so much to unpack. Really, isn't it?
That is true.
Yeah. So I hope I will have a chance to have you back and unpack something else in the future. I enjoying this so much, Jai. I really just want to say I truly appreciate you share with me your journey, and I'm so glad to hear it. I can tell you have done some very professional dancing, and even the way that you teach us, I can sense that you have done some amazing things, and that's why you brought it into the class and let us have that experience. So I always appreciate that. But I think having this hour talking to you, it really just gave me a sense of the path that you take courageously.
Thank you, Ivan. Appreciate that. It's been a pleasure having able to talk and share my experiences with you. as a dancer and as Jai as well, hopefully.
Yeah.
And having you in class has been amazing as well. Because I know that you're a great mover.
Thank you so much. I really value it, but I'm scared, but also excited.
I know. That's the best thing. You know what? I think if you don't have that butterfly feeling anymore, it's time to quit.
True. Yeah.
When you have that nervousness a little bit in there, that's good because that's want you to like, okay, I got this. I want to push myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to do better.
Yeah. So make sure you have that nervousness feeling all the time.
Awesome. Thank you, Jai. I think your journey is so amazing. It sounds easy and all that, but I can't even comprehend each journey you take. They must be scary as well. Like what you say, first travel to Australia by yourself. You don't even know whether you get a job or not, but you take that opportunity. Man, that's amazing. Yeah.
That's what I said earlier. Like, if you don't try it, you won't know it. So there's no regrets. If I don't get the job in the first place in Australia, then I'll come back to Wellington. I'll just keep trying until I get what I want. So no regret.
Yeah. I know that it's the very first productions of Lion King in Australia outside of America. I still remember that because it's such a big deal. It was such a big deal because they see talents outside of Americans and they want to put the show to. So Australia was the very first one.
The audition was huge. But yeah, it was definitely an experience.